This week in gaming, Nintendo makes changes to digital games being cheaper. Game Pass might also be cheaper soon. Epic Games is on the crap list, and Xbox Partner Direct had some cool things to show off, because this is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your illustrious hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and colleague and co-host, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
It's going pretty good, man. Another week. At least it's some mixed news. A little bit of negativity, but some little bit of positivity in there too. But we'll get into that a little here in just in a minute.
Yeah, here in a minute. Extra, welcome to the stream over on TikTok. Welcome everybody on YouTube and Substack. Hope y'all all are doing well tonight. Y'all let us know how y'all are doing down in the comment below. We've got a ton of stuff to react to talk about tonight, and we want your thoughts and opinions. But first up, each and every week, we talk about what you playing. We love to talk about the games that we're enjoying and everything. And I'm assuming from that look that Derek just gave me, he has not played a single thing. He's been on that anime grind. Derek, what have you been watching? Let's just talk about that.
So, I am now in the summer lineup of I've been since we talked about last Eat Sleep Anime, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's the next episode is coming up. We'll have more on that for you later. But then the spring season is upon us. But I've been backtracking, going through last year's all new anime and some continuing anime. I am now on the Somerset. I just finished A Couple of Cuckoos season 1. Going to watch season 2 starting tomorrow. It's really interesting romance anime. How two kids get swapped at birth and then find out they're real parents, and it's like, hey, we're doing an arranged marriage for you two, so we can make all the families true. And I'm like, okay. And just the stuff that evolves across the show is crazy at first. It's a lot to take in. It's a little not weird in like a typical anime sense, but just weird.
Yeah.
It's like, because they have different hairstyles, so it's like, you would think the mothers would be like, hey, this ain't my child. What happened? You know what I mean?
How
So
did
it's
y'all
like,
mess this up?
no one questioned this for 17 years. Like, how did this, But I will say, the one I watched before that, Dealing with Migadono Sisters is a Breeze, actually was really good. I'll get into, I want to save my thoughts and my, opinions for Eat Sleep Anime, but that one was highly underrated in my opinion. Probably a hidden gem. Well, more, but it was a solid voice cast for the sisters.
Chris Sabat is one of the sisters.
At this point, it's almost a better question to ask. What is Chris Sabat not in? I mean, he was the chef in Restaurant to Another World, for crying out loud.
True.
But no. Emmy Lowe was the voice of the oldest sister, who voices Mau Mau in Apothecary Diaries.
Okay.
So
I love it.
Yeah. So very solid voice cast for the sisters. But yeah, that's what some of the stuff I've been watching. You'll have to tune into Eat Sleep Anime to see because I've got some other recommendations from the last spring and leading into the summer. But more on that soon.
More on that soon. Amy says, Derek, we finally did the thing.
I know he was telling me right before the show started. I'm just like, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about watching One Piece on Eat Sleep Anime, but I was trying to save Derek from not looking like he's been doing anything. So at least he's been watching anime. For myself, I didn't stream on Tuesday. Amy wasn't feeling good, so didn't get to play any Expedition this week. But I have played more of, guess what? Death Stranding.
Death Stranding too.
And man, I just love that game. And I built more roads and more monorails, and man, that's all that I need in life. You know what I mean? Like, if I could just build roads and monorail systems, I'd be fine. The world would be a better place.
Yeah, exactly. The world would be a better place, and gaming industry, like, you wouldn't have to lay off 1,000 people to make profits, because you're just sitting there building monorails. Now, Zach, I do have to ask you, You said you love the game. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the asinine thing and ask, do you love it more than God of War? Because we both know that answer.
Mm.
Um, do you love it more because you just win it? I called it, by the way. It's like, Zach's going to jump in right into two. After he finishes one, and you're like, oh, I might take a break. I'm a little bit Kojima'd out, and then you're like, nah, I got to do it. I got to do it.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy this series more than you enjoy Ghost of Tsushima? I'm not going to say Yote, but
Mm.
Tsushima, because Tsushima was your game of the every year for like almost 3 years straight.
I feel like that was just a different time in my life, and I
Also
wasn't
true.
like I didn't have as many options to play, like games and all
Well,
of that.
especially during the COVID.
Yeah, so I feel like just because of when that was, but I think it does have something to say that I'm enjoying this game series in the midst of like all these other amazing games that are out at the same
Correct.
time. I am enjoying 1 and 2 more than I enjoyed Yote's story. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I kind of asked more about Tsushima, just because it's such a like we both enjoyed Yote. Don't get us wrong. Like we both
Yeah.
sit here and enjoyed Yote. We was very much impressed, but I think once we sat back and we finished it, let it gestate it a little bit, we still enjoyed Tsushima's story just a tad bit more
Yeah.
than Yote's. So yeah, that's why I asked Tsushima, because I'm like, we both enjoyed that game way thoroughly, and it was like Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game in a brand new IP that we were just so enthralled with, like this new world we got to play in.
Yeah. I wouldn't give it the leg up over Tsushima just because I feel like Tsushima is accessible for so many players where
True.
anything Kojima, and I played all of Kojima's games since Metal Gear 1. They're hard to like understand, but I do feel like this is the first series from beginning to where I'm at now, where I understand at least a good 80% of it, even if it's weird. Most Kojima games, I understand maybe like 35%, and I'm like, oh, it's
Fair.
pretty. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Oh, that was
I
a
don't
cool
know what's
boss
going on.
fight.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I'm digging it. I'm loving every minute of like getting in there, and most of the time that I'm playing right now is just building out the roads and the world and doing little odds and ends jobs, because on the first game, I didn't spend as much time building out things until later in the game. This time I'm trying to do more of that early game, because I understood, like by the end of it, I'm like, man, if I would have had the roads here, this would be like so much easier to get around and everything if I did this, that, and the other. So just trying to be a little bit better about helping myself in the end game this time around and everything.
So since you're saying that you're really enjoying the building mechanic, what you're saying is this is adult Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I would kind of say that.
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of say that because you also in this game there's an animal like wildlife reserve or whatever, and when you find different animals in the Australian like outback and everything, you get them so they have like a safe place to be and everything. So you are technically kind of well, I guess that's more Pokemon than Animal Crossing, but you are coming across animals.
Okay.
You are coming across animals.
So now what you should do is get Amy to get into the series, but you do all the combat and she does all the building.
See, Amy's watched me play the series. She is not about she's like I'll watch it. I don't understand what's going on. But she's like, you're using a baby for a human shield, and I'm like, that is not what's going on.
No.
Over to some comments real quick. Joe says, me and the missus finished up My Hero. Awesome.
Nice.
Amy and I did as well. And I am caught up on solo leveling now. Let's go.
When do you think, sidebar here, when do you think we'll get season 3? Because if we don't hear about it in the summer, I don't think it'll come 2027. It'll probably be 2020. Either it won't be 2027, it'll be late 2027 when it airs. But both seasons have aired during the winter. Not saying that it can't premiere during any other season, but If we don't hear about it at like the Summer Anime Expo event that they usually do, I don't think we're getting it next year.
I feel like they're going to prioritize solo leveling over other things just because of how big it is. I
Right.
feel like I feel like and this might be blasphemy for some people. I feel like solo leveling is the biggest anime out.
Well, now that My Heroes ended for sure, it's
Well, I'm saying even compared to like JJK, I know Freerun
yeah.
might compete with it, but I think
It
solo
did beat
leveling,
out season one for Anime of the Year.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like viewership wise, I feel like solo leveling hits some
Oh
crazy
yeah.
numbers and everything. So, not saying that I don't like Freerun. Freerun's doing awesome this season, and y'all should go check it out if you haven't watched Freerun season 2. You're
New
missing
episode
out on gold.
tomorrow.
New episode tomorrow. Amy says, I'm still playing that Animal Crossing, reading 2 different books right now, and by myself started watching Fairy Tale. Yeah, Amy was telling
Mm.
me about watching Fairy Tale and just kind of the intro to the show and everything. It does sound really, really cool.
About to
Uh,
say you want to talk. I will say the one shtick about Fairy Tale is the power of friendship is strong in this one. So
isn't it always? Isn't it
it is,
always?
but I feel like modern shonen have like kind of dumbed that down just a tad bit. You know what I mean? It's
Dumbed
not
it down or watered
oversaturated.
it down?
Watered it down. That's
Okay.
that's why watered it down a bit. Compared to what it was like
Yeah.
the early 2000s shonen. Oh yeah, it was like you bleed power of friendship in those animes.
Yeah, yeah. Amy says that game freaks me out a little. Talking about Death Stranding 2. Joe says I love Solo's pacing and direction. It's amazing.
Hmm.
The manga is amazing, and I can't wait to get more of that. But that's all we're going to talk about anime right now,
Yeah.
okay, Derek? Because we've got a lot to discuss in tonight's topics. And first up, Nintendo changes prices of games. Nintendo games will have different prices for physical and digital moving forward. And this is by Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer, right?
Yes.
At
No.
Game Informer.
Yeah. Game Informer. So Nintendo has announced a change to its Nintendo Switch 2 game pricing, with digital and physical versions of its titles launching at different prices. This change will begin in May with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and because pre orders for the game are now live, we know the price difference between the physical and digital versions. The digital version of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book will cost $60 and the physical version will cost $70, reflecting a $10 difference. That's a stark contrast to previously released first-party Nintendo games like Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Metroid Prime 4, which all launched with the same respective price tag regardless of whether your copy was digital or physical with the Switch 2, though Mario Kart World's tag was higher at $80. Quote, Nintendo games offer the same experience whether in packaged or digital format, and this change simply reflects the different costs associated with producing and distributing each format, and offers players more choice in how they can buy and play Nintendo games. The company's announcement reads, Nintendo notes that, as always, its retail partners are free to set their own prices for games regardless of this change. Zach, do, this is probably a weird Nintendo decision for the better, maybe? Question mark. I mean, I know, like with the introduction of game key cards on the Switch 2, it's kind of like bridge that gap just a little bit about digital, physical. Like, and I know since the PS4 and Xbox One era, they've kind of started bridging that gap. Like, I know the Doom Collector's Edition came with everything but a physical copy of the game. I think I don't. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if it came with the game. That may not be the best example, but I know like I bought some collector's editions that came with a digital copy of the game back in my heyday when I worked at the other place. Um, but do you think this will be? I know it's only a $10 difference, but $10 in this economy nowadays, especially now with the standard for games being $80, like across PlayStation and Xbox. Like I know Nintendo will have an outlier here or two, like Mario Kart World, that'll be 80. But $60 game. Back when it was, we're going back to the PS4 and Xbox One days when it's like, all right, that was the standard when you walked into any kind of retail store was a $60
Mm-hmm.
game. do you think this will be for the better, or do you think this is just like a placeholder until like the market increases and Nintendo has to drug along to kicking and screaming to do the same?
I think this is one a good thing for consumers because
Mm-hmm.
it's something that has been talked about. Why isn't digital games cheaper than physical?
Correct.
And we saw when Mario Kart World went to 80, everybody was trying to push up to 80. And there was
Right.
a lot of blowback. Outer Worlds 2 was trying to be pushed to 80. Borderlands 4 was trying to be pushed to 80. And there was a lot of blowback. So everybody kind of went back down. And Nintendo had that outlier. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, we're going to make digital games cheaper. I think they're seeing that there are more people buying digital games
Yep.
because that's just kind of the way it's going. But there's
Mm-hmm.
also a very hardcore side of Nintendo where they want that collectors. They want the the cartridge, or they want the packaging
Correct.
and everything. And for me, that's telling me that this is a time and place where Nintendo is actually looking at the gamers and deciding, hey, if you want this, we are going to charge you a little bit more because it does cost us a little bit more to make it physical. But if you want it digital, we're actually going to kind of reward you in a way. And I
Yeah.
think that we might see, I'm hoping that this shows a case in point for them, that we see PlayStation, Xbox jump on this as well. Because man, if it was cheaper to buy a digital game, oh man, it would be so much nicer.
Right, and so you're seeing, I kind of want to you kind of led into it. It's like you're seeing kind of two different thought processes behind it, right? And you touched on both of them. Is one is like Nintendo's kind of the first to stick it to the retailer and be like, look, man, like people are getting more and more digital. I know there's still physical collectors out there. We're not taking away from them. We're still giving them that offering. But for the people who are going digital, we are touching on that. We don't care because I mean that was the whole shtick for the longest time, and like that was the counter argument to why aren't digital games cheaper? It's like, well, we got to keep our retail partners happy, and now Nintendo's like, screw it, people are going to buy our games regardless of with digital or physical, which leads into the next point. Nintendo now, while they do a WND for when they post game sales, they don't include digital sales for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think they might have been seeing it, like especially since the Switch One, an increase in their digital purchases. So I think that's also been a part of their leap to do this now. It's like, hey, we're seeing an uptick in digital consumers, so why not pull the trigger and just test this market? Because also like because we've talked about it before on the Switch, like on previous consoles you never really saw Nintendo games get discounted, right? On digital storefronts or in retail stores. And then with the Switch, both happened, both Nintendo with on first party games anyway, right?
Hmm.
Because for the longest time it was just third party games that was getting discounts, but first party games like a Mario game, a Zelda game, were getting like Breath of the Wild, Mario what was the Mario Odyssey
Odyssey.
was, yeah, we're getting discounts, and you never saw that from Nintendo before. And I think that enticed people to be like to jump the shark and be like, well, it's still $60 in store, but it's on sale for 40 on digital storefront, like, and it's only just a little bitty cartridge that I could lose anyway. Why not buy it digital and just keep it on my hardware?
And a lot of times you're still having to download a ton of stuff to get the latest
Exactly.
version of the game. So the cartridge, yes, and like Nintendo's the better of it than the others and everything,
Yes.
but still at the same time, I think this is a good point for them. I think this is something that in the long run will be effective. And you hit it nail on the head with, you don't see them doing any kind of discounts normally until like the last
Hmm.
generation and everything. The only ones you really don't see a discount on is Pokemon games, and this would be your one
Yeah.
way of getting $10 off. Essentially, you're getting $10 off forever until the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, maybe this will help them. And like you said, they are seeing these numbers. They don't put them out,
Mhm.
but they are seeing these numbers, and clearly this is one. Like, you think about the Switch 2, they just reduced the number of Switch 2s that they're producing this year from 6
By
million
thirty
down to
percent.
4. Yeah, down to I think 4 million or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And and you see that and it's like, okay, it is selling really well. It's selling,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like, okay, it's not selling as they also a lot of times game people they overshoot.
Estimate, yeah.
Yeah. And it's
As we'll
like,
talk about later for one company.
yeah. But that tells me that there is enough people that this is because the Nintendo Online is so much better than it used to be on the Wii and the Wii U. It's actually a
Mm-hmm.
viable, not
Yeah.
playing online, but buying your games online. It's much better.
Correct. About to say playing online will be the next thing they have to work on. But baby steps. We're getting there.
One step at a time, one step at a time. I think overall though, this is something great and I can't wait for it. But let's get into our next topic of the show, and that is Asha Sharma reportedly wants to make Game Pass more affordable. And before we get into the article by Rebecca Valentine at IGN, I want to play this little cut right here. Let me make
Okay.
sure which one it is. This one, I think, from a previous episode where I talked about what I wanted to see from
Okay.
Xbox, what I want from them, the price of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Should Game Pass be $32 or whatever for Ultimate?
No.
Okay. It's like, how many people, like, was that increase? Like, are you making more money than you did before when it was cheaper and you had more subscribers? Like, looking at these things and it's like, let's make some decisions. Let's like really look at this. And it's like, are we like raising the console prices? It's like we're struggling as it is to sell these freaking things.
Yep.
Is making the Xbox
We
Series
can't
X
give it away
800?
now.
Yeah. It's like, is it making it $800 actually going to sell anything? I don't know, you know? So that's what I said last time. Let's check in and see what Asha Sharma is up to. This is by Rebecca Valentine over at IGN.
So, Xbox's new CEO, Asha Sharma, just got back from the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco earlier this month, where she seemingly made the rounds among both high level execs and indie devs in an effort to lay out her vision for the brand to come. And reportedly, one component of that may involve making Xbox Game Pass more affordable. This comes from a report by The Information, which spoke to multiple individuals who themselves spoke to Sharma about Game Pass. They claim that she wants to make future consoles and products like Game Pass more enticing to a broader range of customers, an effort which may include revamping price models to offer lower price tiers. Excuse me. She's also reportedly looking into partnerships with other companies such as Netflix, with Netflix CEO Greg Peters saying he's met with Sharma several times and that they have kicked around ideas for subscription bundle partnerships. That last part's gonna be interesting to see how that
Mm.
shakes up. I mean, it does make sense, that it almost, it's like it goes hand in hand because Netflix also has their own gaming division, even though it's turmoil in that neck of the woods. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe this can cause a resurgence, but we go from game Nintendo digital games being a little cheaper to now possibly Xbox Game Pass. Now, the one caveat I will say is like this kind of feels like, and I know she's already CEO, so she doesn't have to make her case for why you should vote for her to make CEO. But this also is like running for like class president. All right, it's like if you vote for me, I'll have snacks in the break room or blah blah. It's like if you vote me CEO, I will lower the price of Game Pass. It almost feels like she's just throwing things out there to make anyone happy. Like, and instead of being vote for me for CEO, it's like believe in me and keep Xbox in your living room type of deal. Because again, we talked ad nauseum that one episode about her credentials and all the worries and concerns and all that kind of jazz. And I mean, this would be a way to bring gamers back, especially since from Xbox, what we talked about mostly from them that wasn't when it wasn't about games they were showing was their prices for Game Pass and consoles kept going up and several times, and coming down. Now, I'd like to know how long this would take because they just increased it. So it's like, how do you backtrack on that just as quickly? It's like, how long will you ride this out? Because I know some people already got charged because I think it started last fall, and people who were new or their subscriptions were ending around that time already got charged the new price. So I don't know. I mean, again, he's no longer there, but Jim Ryan, he was pushing this live surfing initiative, like it was his last breath. And and then of course he left, and now Sony is seeing the backlash of that and not seeing the ROIs that they need. So they're backtracking and they're making a quick turnaround, or at least as quick of a turnaround as they can. Now, that's a different situation, and the person's no longer there. Asha's going to be there for however long she is, until the plan's not the plan, essentially. And again, I'd like to know how much cheaper, and obviously, but now this just popped in my head too. Does cheaper mean a cheaper option? Like, do we add another tier to Xbox and just keep, because like the ultimate price we can't drop because we're going to lose money on it. But do we create another tier that's more affordable for people to still be in that Xbox ecosystem and enjoy our games? So go ahead.
Yeah. One of my thoughts, because the wording in that article was like having cheaper tiers, which means it could, like, the wording around that is it could mean, oh, they're going to create new tiers that are quote unquote cheaper. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lower the price of Ultimate. The way I would want this to happen, ultimately, gamers need to win here. Bring down the price of Ultimate. The other way that this could work, and I think would still get more people into the ecosystem of Xbox, is make xCloud its own tier. And if they did that,
okay.
because right now it's tied to Ultimate, you have to have Ultimate to do xCloud. But if you make a tier that's literally just xCloud, then you're able to reach a lot more people that have Samsung TVs, have phones, whatever, and you're able to just play there. And I think that would be a much better way of going about this than trying to put another Bobo tier on the bottom that's not going to do much and not going to move the needle. I would love for it to come back down to the price that it was before this increase, because there were so many people. I remember we put out the short talking about the price increase. They were like, I'm canceling. I'm canceling. I'm canceling. And it's like, okay, if you could lower the price, are you going to see enough people jump back into, Games Pass, and then actually, you're making more money, $10 earned is not that big of a deal, if like, oh yeah, you're losing $10 per, but what if you gain 1,000 new subscribers? That's a small number. What if you gained 2 million new subscribers just because you dropped it $10?
Yeah.
Are their margins are not that small on this. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? Like they would have made it even more expensive if their margin was like 2 or 3%.
Sure. Well, especially now that they want everybody to make a 30% ROI on their games,
Yeah. And it's like you've got to get the games in front of people, and if people aren't buying your consoles, then you have to get it out there for them in a different way, and xCloud is the way to do that.
Yes. So,
and Mike's boy, I'm just saying, every week I come on here and I'm like, hey, y'all come hire, make this man chief marketing officer already. I'm here. Y'all let me know. They won't,
because they're a bunch of cowards, but
Asha, find me on LinkedIn.
Hey, maybe if the plan's not the plan anymore, they will go with that.
Maybe I'm the one that comes up with a new plan, the real plan. But I hope like this does make me feel excited, because that is one of the things that we talked about when she got announced, what we wanted to see. We also talked about lowering the price of Xboxes. Maybe that's something we also see, because again, you've got to get these consoles in people's hands, and the price is the thing that is keeping people away from Xbox at this point. So you've got to do something to make shifts, to make things happen.
Yes. And again, keeping those people there, because again, with how sudden the shakeup was, and Phil just, abruptly exiting and Asha taking in, people are already like confused, dazed and confused, and full of doubt. And doing this is a way to like quell the seas somewhat. It might not be leaps and bounds, but I'd also like to see how much it would go down as well. Like, again, they have to make it to where it's still appeasing to the investors up top, but also it's appealing to the people who are putting money in their pockets, us the consumers.
Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see, and hopefully we don't have a story about, oh, it's rescinding, or like, I feel like they wouldn't even post it if they never lowered the price. I feel like they would just not say anything until someone like pointed it out and be like, hey, well, you promised lower Game Pass prices, and it's like, we didn't say that.
Well, clearly, like this is being kicked around because she's talking to devs, she's talking to
Hmm.
people that they need to have these relationships with developers to get them on Game Pass. So,
Yeah.
like, they're not saying, "Hey, we're lowering the price of Game Pass." It's like, "Hey, like I'm a developer, I'm concerned. Like, if I put my game on Game Pass." Like, what are the numbers? What is the
Yeah.
vision for it? Like, it did go up in price. Like if I was developing something like Clear Obscure went on Game Pass, like if I was a developer and it would have been at like what the price is now, I would be more concerned about that. But like,
Oh yeah.
what is your like install base of Game Pass? Like, what is the thought
Yeah,
process
well,
of
what's in it
pricing?
for me? Like, yeah, I know. I don't know if this is how it still works nowadays, but I know back in the day when Game Pass, or like even back when games with Gold and PlayStation,
PlayStation Plus.
Plus, like, well, I know PlayStation Plus still is a thing, but they would get a lump sum up front, and then I think some would even go with, if they hit a certain milestone, they'd get more money on the back end. But I know they pretty much paid you a lump sum up front, and I know we've talked about it before. Rocket League was a prime example of like,
Yep.
they regretted going free on play, even though they're now kind of free to play now. But they were like, hey, we regretted on a launch of a brand new game going free, because we could have made so much more money than PlayStation paid us up front. So it's like,
Well,
okay, what are your numbers? Like, the lump sum up front is great, but how much ROI will we see on that? Because specifically from Game Pass, we've talked about it before, is the worry when it first came out was, oh, no one's going to buy digital, or no one's going to buy games anymore. And then Microsoft just kind of dropped it on the table and was like, actually, people are buying games more now than ever because they're trying it on Game Pass first. So it's like, will we see that ROI from people who play it on Game Pass?
yeah, and to the point of the whole Rocket League thing, when you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, like the install base would not have been the same
Facts. Yeah.
because, like, I remember when Rocket League came to PlayStation Plus, the reason I even checked it out was because it was free.
Yes.
It was not necessarily a game for me, but
Right.
it like, yeah, you could regret something, but if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't have gotten that at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm also curious, like, you don't hear Claire Obscure's like dev team complaining about Expedition 33 not selling as much because it was on Game Pass and all of that.
Right.
Like, it's still on Game Pass, and they constantly have people playing the game, more people starting it and everything. So
Definitely
it's
hasn't
just,
hurt them with all their Game of the Year awards. You know what I
no,
mean?
no, not at all. You know what can't hurt, Derek? And that is hitting that like button right now, because you're watching the Nerd Cave News, and we come to you live each and every week here, 7 p.m. Central Time. We bring you all the nerdy news that you need to know. It helps us a ton. While you hit that like button, you are also helping a 1.5 person business. Y'all can do it. I believe in you right now. You're hitting that like button. I'm watching it. I'm literally watching. I'm believing you. The power of friendship. You can do it. Come on, go plus ultra. I believe in you. You can do it. Okay, come on. Come on. All right, guys, thank you for everybody that is liking. We've got an awesome discussion about the Xbox partner preview starting here in just a moment. But first up, we're going to talk about the evil that is Epic Games. Epic Games becomes less epic because they have laid off over 1,000 employees yesterday. And this is by Charles Hart at Game Informer.
So, Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite and the Epic Games Store, is laying off over 1,000 employees. The news dropped via a statement posted on the company's website, signed by Epic's founder and CEO Tim Sweeney. The announcement is also prefaced with the sentence, quote, this note was sent to Epic employees today. Fortnite also posted an update on X stating that it will shut down 3 of Fortnite's newer modes, Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage, which is Fortnite Festival's PvP mode. Quote, we build a lot of Fortnite modes, and in some cases we fail to build something awesome enough to attract and retain a large player base, the post states. Rocket Racing will be live until October of this year, while Ballistic and Festival Battle Stage will each go offline on April 16th, with Fortnite's 40.2 update. Presumably, many of the laid-off workers will have been working in these departments. Sweeney's announcement cites, quote, downturn in Fortnite engagement as the primary reason for the layoffs, claiming that the decline began in 2025 and the studio hasn't recovered since. It also blames broad industry-wide changes like slower growth and low console sales, as well as challenges unique to Epic, all of which generally have to do with constant Fortnite updates on console, PC, and mobile platforms. Notably, the message does not say the company plans to replace workers with AI. Quote, since it's a thing now, I should note that the layoffs aren't related to AI, Sweeney writes. To the extent it improves productivity, we want to have as many awesome developers developing great content and tech as we can. Epic recently made headlines for raising the price of V-Bucks, Fortnite's in-game currency. While 1,000 V-Bucks used to go for $8.99, that same dollar amount now only gets players 800 V-Bucks. The cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot, and we're raising prices to help pay the bills, the announcement reads. The move was unsurprisingly unpopular, and many online mocked the sentiment that such a large company would use the phrase to help pay the bills. And, that leads me into my, little rant here, and it's like, dude, I get now the modes I get, you know what I mean? Like, especially, like if they're not panning out and they've dwindled down, why keep the maintenance on them up running just for hardly anyone to be there? But why can't you reallocate those 1,000+ employees to other projects in your department, or do the popular thing like a lot of studios are doing, and just do it to maintenance, Q&A, quality control, you know what I mean? Like, why can't you reallocate those resources instead of just laying off 1,000 people? Or here's the thing, instead of laying them off, why not just say, hey, what other mode, like these modes are not hitting anymore, 2 of them are going in a few weeks, why not brainstorm and come up with what other modes do you want to try, do you want to see? Because yes, Fortnite wants to stay relevant. There's a reason that they're king, and they keep trying new things. Like, they did like a Lego thing, or like a racing thing, I want to say. So and that's why they keep doing all these new skins. Like, I know Game of Thrones is like its latest crossover collab they're doing in the game. So like they're top dog for a reason. They keep fresh ideas. They bring new modes. They just try things. They're like Google, except
Yep.
they hit more than they miss with what Google does with their new stuff. Anyway, so why not use those brains of theirs to think of ideas to keep those 1,000 employees employed? Because Epic prints money, and it's like, oh, due to Epic, problems or whatever it is, like whatever that statement said, it's like unique to Epic. I'm like, that sounds like some investors were about to lose their 5th vacation home, and they're like, we can't have that. We're gonna miss out on bonuses. We can't have that. Lay off these 1,000 employees.
Well, in the full statement, it talks about that they are saving like $500 million. Like, it was like some kind of bonus structure or something like that. That these layoffs are going to allow like 500 million to stay within the company, which
And you think they're going to use that to rehire people, or
no,
just to hire people? No, by no means. And I mean, kudos to them, I guess. Fake flowers to them for saying that, oh, we're not going to replace them with AI. It's like, that's what you should do. It's like, people are like, I raise my kids. That's what you should do, you idiot. Like, that's your job as a parent. It's like, oh, we're not using AI. That's what you should be doing. Like, come on, guys. I don't get it, man. Like, and I'm not saying they're Amazon. They don't, but they still print money. You know what I mean? Like, it just boggles my mind that they have to lay off 1,000 employees, and they couldn't just they don't have the wherewithal to figure out how to reallocate their human resources. Whew. Zach,
Yeah.
Zach, what? Give me your takes on this.
Like what gets me, dude, is when you're laying off this amount of people, because last year they laid off like 800,
Yeah,
and that was like 13 or something percent. This is like over 20% of their staff that is
woof.
being laid off. Can you imagine, like, if you had a small business and you had 5 people and you laid off 20% of your staff, like,
Yeah,
that's huge amount of numbers. And it's like, this is 1,000 people that no longer have health insurance, no longer have an income that's coming in. And this is the top 1 to 2 game in the world at all times.
correct.
And they don't have the money. They don't
Yeah,
have the projects. And
I would have
go ahead.
questioned me like, so if we are successful and we're one of the top 2 games, where that money going?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like, it is not the CEOs, the board, the shareholders that are making these games. And again, this comes down to, this is an age old thing
Hmm.
where creatives do amazing things, but the people that are employing them are reaping the benefits of the creatives.
Hmm.
And it's like, you see this here with Epic. You've got 1,000 people now. All these 1,000 are probably not all devs. I hope they're not all
Correct.
devs. It could
Yeah.
be some HR people, it could be some redundancies, whatever. But
Q&A people.
yeah, Q&A, whatever it may be. But when you get down to this, you are seeing these corporations, and we're back to the corporate talk. You're seeing these corporations protecting their bottom dollar and not
Hmm.
the people around them. And we've talked about it before. You're going to see a rise of more and more indie studios that are making smaller projects, but that are awesome, like Hollow Knight, like
Hmm.
Expedition 33, like Hades 2. All of these
Hmm.
things, you're going to see more and more of these amazing games, which I want. But you're going to see less and less of these big games keep being impactful. And another thing with Fortnite is they're seeing less player engagement from last year to this year, from February 2024 to February 2025 to February 2026. There
Hmm.
was people in 2024 that were playing like 20 hours a week or 20 hours a day or something like that. That was the average
Wow.
play, to 17.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that was a drop and everything, but it's like, okay, they're seeing that the people are less engaged or whatever, but that could be because of the content. It could be because of the
Hmm.
season. It could be blah, 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 blah.
Right. It's like you could have gotten some like when they did Star Wars or when they did like brought in like first party mascots like Kratos or like Master Chief. It's like, all right, those fans of those series or those platforms came in and like there was an uptick, and now it's like, oh, the next season is like Terminator. It's like, cool, I don't care for Terminator that much, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so and that's typical with anything. You know what I mean? Like, you go to the movies. It's like, all right, the movie, a couple Marvel movies were great. Then the next one you went, it's like, not that great. I'm gonna or does the trailer previews don't look that great. I'm gonna miss this one. It's like, and then all of a sudden, Marvel's like, we're seeing a downtick in movies. It's like, well, maybe you didn't make as many compelling movies, or it spoke to the same amount of audience as you normally do. Like, same thing with Fortnite. It's like, not everything is going to speak to everyone, and maybe you should use your brains and maybe account for that. It's like, hey, we're gonna do Terminator. Like, yeah, Terminator has a good following from back in the day,
Yeah.
but some of its later stuff is not that great. So, or like people don't, it doesn't hold the same bandwidth as it used to back in its heyday with Arnold. And it's like, you should account for that. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
we're expecting maybe somewhat of a downtick for this season.
Well, and it's like, you think about it, like people that like Terminator are not young kids that are playing Fortnite.
No, it's
Like,
people like us.
yeah, I know, like our age and up do play Fortnite and everything, but that's not
Hmm.
the main demographic. It's like 13 to like, I
Yeah.
guess now like 22 or something like that. But it's the thing that gets me is they are constantly making money, and then they see, oh, we're not making the extreme amounts of money. So
Mhm.
we have to do something, and what we're going to do, we're going to fire people.
Yeah,
That's
because
that's
that makes
always the
sense.
yeah. That's always the answer to anything is like, oh, well, I'm not taking it out of my paycheck. I'm
Right?
going to take it
No,
out
we
of
can't do
theirs.
that.
I'm going to take it out of theirs.
And again, I say, how much money do you need? Like again, there's a comfortable lifestyle and wanting to build generational wealth for your kids to be what like when you're gone, heaven forbid something takes you before your time comes, but like you want to make sure your family's well taken care of. But how much money do you flipping need? Like there's
Hmm.
comfortable and then there's greedy. It's like and we're all these corporations are at that greedy stage, and it's like
Yep.
for what?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, um, you will eventually answer for everything that you do. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yep,
how many people do have to lose their jobs? Like we're at this far into the year, halfway,
almost three
almost.
thousand
Yeah, it's almost 3,000. 1,000 of that is
is
from
from
Epic.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a third of like it's crazy. It's crazy. We're only 3 months into the new year, and I know for a lot of game companies, this is coming up on the end of their fiscal year. I get that,
Yeah.
but like just in the vacuum of 2026, we're only a quarter of the way through the year, and we've already had almost 3,000 layoffs. And I forget because I know we kept kind of track of it last year or like maybe the year before, but it became an insane amount by the end, as we got to the end of the year. So I can only wait. If we average 3,000, we're going to be at 12 to 14,000 by the end of the year. And then just wait. Ubisoft, and if Ubisoft shuts down, that's going to be at least another several thousand.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I hate everything about it. But we had something good at least happen this week, Derek.
Yeah.
We're not going to beat the dead horse like I feel like we've done for several weeks. We actually get some video games to talk about because the Xbox partner preview happened, and I am excited to get to jump into all of this. We're going to watch a few trailers tonight. There's several
Yeah.
others that you can go check out and everything, but
Yeah, I think I counted like 20 trailers, and I'm like, we can't do 20. Like we'll do 6.
yeah, so we got 6. We got the, as Macho Man Randy Savage once said, cream of the crop. So we're gonna watch the cream of the crop. First up is Artificial Detective puts a magnifying glass to the post-apocalypse in its first trailer. So let's check it out right now.
Just take care of your little freaking robo-zoo and let me do my thing.
All right, then. It's almost like iRobot meets
Humanity has
Borderlands.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Sound like the biggest missing persons case in the history of the world? Yeah, thank God I'm on the job. Artificial Detective 2846.
Okay.
Best detective in the world. Only detective in the world. The point is this. all right?
What if the
I'm
deer
gonna
was the
solve this
detective?
case. There's just one piece in the puzzle that's driving me crazy. No touching. You got your toy? These are my toys. I'm a detective, not a babysitter, all right?
Yeah.
Why is the deer dead? Oh no.
That's lovely. Oh, here comes Skynet.
Evil
What the
triangles. Oh,
Okay.
and it's attracted to living things. Yep.
Ah,
And because she's living.
yeah.
Oh, and it will take over.
Wow.
Is this Deus Ex?
Something.
Hold on, kid.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that's okay. Oh, okay.
That's very Gears of War.
Exactly.
I got you.
Okay, Derek, thoughts on Artificial Detective?
Man, Handsome Jack really has fallen on different times since being kicked out of the Vault Hunters.
Very true.
I was gonna
Very
say
true.
like just the suave hair and like the way he was like so aggressive and like his verbiage. I'm like that just screams Handsome Jack to me. That's why I said Borderlands. It seems interesting. Like of course again like Skynet, taking over. Like what
Mhm.
if the robots took over and it seems like again, attacking anything with living tissue in it is the thing, and she might be one of the last or one of the few humans out there. Maybe I feel like she might be like a human hybrid or whatever, down the road. But that's
Mhm.
why we saw the deer die because it was partly living, and it's like we can't have that here. Just like we can't have 1,000 employees, we gotta have millions of dollars anyway in our pocket. But that's neither. I digress. It looks like an intriguing game. Like the gameplay looked very it kind of looked a little not clunky, but a little bit, rigid.
Yeah.
But again, it's an early build. It's not coming out till next year. Um, but there are some positive things like the Lancer charge, at near the end with Gears of War esque as you said, and then just like launching a ball and then letting it explode, or having the robot dog attack the enemies for you, which we've seen that in other games, But again, seeing that as a continuation is always cool, Is like you have that companion with you, so you don't always have to be the one only taking out the enemies.
Yeah, for me, I agree. The gameplay does look a little clunky. It doesn't make me feel like the combat's going to be great. But
Yeah.
hopefully between now and when it does release in 2027, whenever that may be, could be early, could be late. We don't know yet. Could get pushed depending on it. But hopefully from showing this and getting people's feedback and everything, they can streamline the combat to make it feel like I understand he's a robot. Okay.
Yeah.
But he does look like a pretty sleek and elegant
Correct.
robot, which to me makes it feel like he should be moving more gracefully, and that would be way more interesting to me
Yeah. Now,
in
if
a
it was
visual.
if it was like one of the robots that came to life, like that one that like I could understand the gameplay being clunky because you got a clanker, you got an older model,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he looks like he's one of the newer model robots, and it's like you should be moving a little bit smoother than that, my guy.
Yeah, he looks very high end, kind of gangster,
Yeah.
sort of deal. So that's what I'm hoping is they improve it, but it does look really cool. And hopefully there is like a detective side of things. Like I think about Heavy Rain or the Batman Telltale series. Like there was like actual detective work that had to be done within that. And I would love to see that be brought into this game because all we really saw was a little bit of a cinematic and gameplay, but I'm excited and I'm hopeful for Artificial Detective. Blumhouse, though, showed off a game today, which is Grave Season, and it is set to release in August, and we got a trailer, so let's check it out.
Ready to mature, hide your kids, hide your wife.
So, my friend, your departure caused quite the commotion back home. But I'm proud of you for making it out when you got the chance.
Reminds me of Don't Starve
I've sent this letter to the address I once knew.
a little bit.
An empty old farm up in the mountains. Ashen Ridge is a good,
Yeah.
humble town with good people in it. Warm, welcoming, but not too inquisitive. I have fond memories of that place. I hope you can make a few of your own. But be wary.
No.
You'll reap what you sow. You've always had a knack for figuring things out. That resourcefulness will keep you out of trouble.
Or get you in it.
Middle of it.
Yeah.
Take an old man's
More than
advice.
not, get you in it.
Keep busy. Lay low. Idle hands are the devil's playground. Make something of yourself. For yourself. While you still can.
All right. Skinwalker.
Okay, so we're getting the demo coming August 14th. Dude, that does look pretty good. I'm not like huge on like horror games and everything,
Right.
but I do like the art style. It reminds me of, like you said, kind of Don't Starve, but it kind of does remind me of Sea of Stars, but in horror.
I was gonna say Sea of Stars.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like in the detective thing, just like I was talking about Artificial Detective, I love the detective framework of a game.
Yes. So it's a very appealing thing, just because it's like, all right, what can I notice? What can I start piecing together before they tell me in the game? You know, and that horror aspect, it does seem intriguing. Like, I know, again, you're not big on horror games, but I feel like this would and maybe it's because of the aesthetic, like the top down view, it wouldn't be as scary. I feel like it's something you could tolerate to an extent. So
Yeah.
until the skinwalker comes, runs at you like it did at the end, but only time will tell. But it does look very intriguing and very like, and Blumhouse, it does do it. Like, they're getting into games. I forgot that they were getting into games. They made their own division, but they're known for like very like intricate movies. Like, I'm thinking like Insidious and all that kind of stuff. So if they can bring that aspect of storytelling to the games, I think this game will be successful, regardless of it being like a smaller indie game.
Yeah, I think this is like their second or third horror game that they've put out under Blumhouse Games. So I love it. It looks cool, and I think I might actually play this. This might be a Zach game. It has enough of Zach codedness in there that I'm willing to.
And when I'm sitting, because I wanted to preview, because again, partner preview, there was a lot of stuff I didn't know, so I previewed it. Those first couple seconds, I'm like, I feel like Zach would play this regardless of it being a horror game, so I have to include this in here.
Exactly. One I wasn't expecting was Super Meat Boy 3D release date brings a gaming icon into new spaces. So let's check out Super Meat Boy 3D.
Okay.
I do feel this the little bit I've played of Super Meat Boy. It's like, hey, we're gonna have you just yell a bunch and break things. Like, this actor probably had a great day.
Oh yeah. I get paid for this? Let's go.
Oh, this would anger me so much.
3D!
Oh, next week.
Wow. Okay, so next week, Super Meat Boy 3D. Derek, did you ever play any of the Super Meat Boy games?
I never did. Again, I heard, like, when it first came out, I was like, oh man, it's a really cool platformer game. I'm like, cool, let me check it out. And I saw the trailer, and I'm like, nope, not for me. This is like Dark Souls and all the Soulsborne games. I don't play games to get more stressed after I have a long day at work. I play games to de-stress, and this would definitely not be that for me. Cool for them because it's a popular series. They've done Meat Boy, they've done 1 and 2, and now they're doing a 3D version because it was a 2D aspect. So they're bringing the same frustration. They're like, just because we've gotten away and we're doing 3D doesn't mean it's going to be easier. It's going to be even more frustrating because you have more angles, but guess what? You're still going to die.
Yeah, and I love it feels very 90s coded when you get to your third thing, it's 3D. So I love that little tongue-in-cheek kind of wordplay and everything. Like, I can only imagine. I think of like Super Mario Maker 1 and 2 when people would make their own levels and everything, and it would be so like hard and annoying. This looks like that on steroids. So I do not wish this on my worst enemy, but for all the Super Meat Boy fans, you're gonna absolutely love it. I know someone, I think it was a few weeks, maybe a few months ago, finally beat Super Meat Boy without dying at all. So
I remember that. Yeah.
So I wonder how long this one will take for somebody to beat without dying.
So Zach, what you're saying is you're going to play that next Tuesday for stream, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And Derek is going to be here in person, and he's going to play it as well.
Oh Yeah, right.
See, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Rebellion dares players to survive extraterrestrial weather in first. We're talking about
Words.
Alien Death Storm. It's a storm full of death and full of aliens. So let's check out the trailer.
What the hell happened here?
Your mom.
Death Storm.
Where is everyone?
Oh. Hello. This looks like if the
That looks
alien
like a-
predator had a baby.
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking.
Warning. Adverse weather conditions detected. Wind speeds reaching survival threshold. Seek shelter.
Don't tell me what to do.
I thought we were going to get like a big scare or something.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Oh, well.
And it's
So-
coming to Game Pass.
Cool. So, of course, next year, 2027. Now, Rebellion, for those who might recognize the name, that has done the Sniper Elite series, which is a super popular, franchise. They've done. I know they haven't done one in a while. I feel like they've done one since 4. In between there, it was like a colon something whatever. I know they did a VR game, but they do really good work on Sniper, and they do the Zombie Army games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are super popular franchises. And it looks promising. They're trying to branch out and do different things. It looks like rather than just keep doing like the World War Sniper or whatever. But especially at that end cut, it almost looks like it's a VR game. Like because of some of the aesthetic. I mean, obviously they didn't tout it as VR game, but who knows? Like more maybe come out later. I don't know. There is promise only because behind the name Rebellion, but I don't know. I'm not enthralled with this one as we've seen from like the other previous trailers.
Yeah, there's other Alien games that look way cooler and more interesting.
Right.
This one, I feel like it's like, oh, we're gonna make the weather like a part of the game.
Part of the
That's like,
game.
it's like, isn't that just like part of the game normally? Like regardless,
Right.
like weather's
No,
part
they're
of the
going to
game?
do it like remember Just Cause 4, where you got run around and the weather effects actually messed up like enemy bases and whatnot. Like you can control manipulate the weather to play into your hand to take over the enemy base. I'm like, that's what kind of feels like. It's like, we're going to include the weather, and it's like, Just Cause did it already. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
and it didn't make the game good.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of one of the games that I'm playing right now, Death Stranding 2. If you haven't heard of it, it's a little game by Hideo Kojima, and when it rains, it actually speeds up time.
Yep.
So that's cool. But like in the second one, when it rains, it will actually like flood like the riverbeds and all of that. So you've got to like watch the radar and make sure it's like, oh, is it flooding right now? Because if it is, you've got to take a different way to get to places because
Right.
like unless you've built bridges or roads or whatever, like you're not going to be able to cross this thing. So, you know, like say, oh, Death Storm, like it's, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I'm being pessimistic over here. I'm sorry, Rebellion. Hopefully it goes well for y'all. So, but let's talk about the game that I think we're both most excited for, and that is Stranger Than Heaven. We got a trailer that reveals multiple eras with more to be revealed in May, and May will be here sooner than we know it. But right now, Derek, let's watch Stranger Than Heaven's newest trailer. That was cool.
Oh look, the new season of Windbreaker's out.
Slice and dice.
I know. Break Japan's underworld. Don't mind if I do. Okay.
Harley Quinn.
Right.
5 eras, 5 cities.
43, 51, 65.
I wonder if it's the same character.
I don't know. Was it going to be Sifu where he gets older? The new Mafia looks good.
Yakuza.
Yeah. On May 6th. Okay, interesting.
Oh, we're getting like a full look at it.
So they're taking a page out of Sony's book and like doing a deep dive.
Dude, this looks so cool.
It does. Just the combat options alone look really cool.
Man, that excites me a lot.
Me
Excites
too.
me
So
a lot.
I can't wait. Do you think? And I missed it at the end. Sorry. Do you think we get the game this year?
I think we do, dude. Like if they're doing,
especially if
if
they're doing a
doing
deep
that,
dive.
yeah. Now my question is, will they put it out
When?
before? Yeah, it's like they've got to get it out before GTA because it's going to have some similarities. It's not going to be exactly GTA, which nothing is.
Right.
But I think this has the chance of being something that is akin to like a Red Dead Redemption
Right.
that's set in this very interesting universe.
You see like the railroad, you see like Prohibition era style clothing and cars. So like again, the different eras, like the you get the 1950 or 1910s, 20s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I wonder if like it'll start out with the main character, and then like once we get to the 50s and 60s, it'll be like, oh, like your son's old enough, he starts taking over the family business or whatever it is, and one of his old arch enemies rears his ugly head, and now he passes his burden on to his son. Is like, you have to finish what I started type thing. Now, if they introduce like a timey-wimey mechanic, I'm like, okay, maybe. Like I could see. I mean, Ryo Gakutoku again, like we said, they do the Yakuza games. They like to do weird and wacky a little more so in their mini games than they do in their actual like storytelling, but they like to get weird a little bit. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility they do a little weird, timey-wimey stuff. But I think that's the more practical reason is like, especially you see like old tradition in Japan where it's like, oh, you have to finish what I started. This was my blemish, my sin that I never got to, rectify. Like I need you, even though this is more of a burden on your child than it is anything else than a blessing. It's like, I need you to do this for me, like regain my honor type of thing.
Yeah.
So I could see that being more of that. But again, I wouldn't put it past RGG to do this as well. But the whole different era, like starting in old school, like Japan, and then moving on to like cars and then like modern, industrial revolution type stuff. It's very cool to see a very different take from, and like, again, they were known as the Yakuza studio. Then they did Judgment, and that was a different take because while it still had the fighting style of Yakuza, it was like more detective, and that again, like that aspect was really cool to see. And then even Yakuza, they with the latest one they did, Like a Dragon, and some of the newer entries, it's like, hey, we're going to change up the formula and do more turn-based, and that worked better than expected for that. Like, people bought the crap out of Like a Dragon, So, and now it's its own separate series. They're doing just different things now, and now they're doing new IP that just do the weird. So I'm glad for them. I never played a Yakuza game, and it's kind of like Final Fantasy. Every time I see a new one, it's like, all right, this one will be the one I play or whatever, and it never is. One day, maybe. One day I get to play a Yakuza game, but I digress. Zach, I know you are just as big on this as I am. Like, are you excited for what this game has to offer?
Yeah, this trailer makes me even more excited. I know we watched, I think it was Summer Games Fest when we saw it last, or a preview before. I can't remember exactly,
Mhm.
but I remember seeing a different character in that trailer and
Yeah.
everything. And so that tells me we potentially will get multiple characters. We might get,
Mhm.
2 to 3, maybe it's a new one each one. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this excites me a lot. I think it's going to be really fun, and just the way that they're able to build their worlds and
Mhm.
make them feel very lived in. Like the little bit I've played of Yakuza's games, like I'm talking about old Yakuza
Yeah.
games, it made it feel way more alive than the stuff we were getting in America at that point. And now that was, dude, I don't even want to admit it, but that was like 20 years ago when I played that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I know that it's going to be even cooler. And just seeing like, oh, you're at a restaurant or whatever, and you're getting this dish and it looks beautiful, and I can't wait to play it, because man, it's going to be cool.
And one last thing on the release date too is like thinking about it because, and again, different games, right? But you have Wolverine already planting its flag in mid-September, like, so it doesn't leave a lot of room for this game to come out before and have enough resonance. So I could see this internally, like them not saying a 2026 date, and internally being like I think that's what they're aiming for inside the studio, but I think they might kick it down and be like January 2027 is when this game launches, or like early, like February, like early 2027 Q1. So is when, and I think that would be perfect because it'll be like GTA comes out in November. It'll be about a month and a half or a couple months removed since then. It's like it'll have enough time to let people want something new.
Yeah, I love it. Now it's time for the Patreon Quick Hits. The Patreon Quick Hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go and support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. Become part of the ship, part of the crew at patreon.com/nerdcave. Now, time for the Patreon Quick Hits.
Starting off, NVIDIA CEO says he hates AI slop as well while defending the DLSS 5. Kind of oxymoronic in that, but to each their own. PSVR 2 shooter Firewall Ultra will no longer be playable starting September 17th. Sony is reportedly dropping the PlayStation Network rebranding later this year. Crystal Dynamics has suffered more layoffs. Aspire Media denies use of AI assets for Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered challenge mode content. Todd Howard says the majority of the building is working on the Elder Scrolls 6, because why not? That's the next game you need to be pushing out the door. Ben Schwartz confirms Jim Carrey will return in Sonic 4 as Robotnik. Kirsten Dunst is cast as Alex in Minecraft, the sequel movie. Take-Two boss denies, Take-Two boss doesn't think PS6 and Project Helix will be delayed due to component pricing and availability issues. CD Projekt Red reveals it's hired, not fired, hired over 220 devs this past year, with most of them working on The Witcher 4. Ubisoft ending game development at Ghost Recon Studio Red Storm Entertainment, and over 100 employees have been laid off. Ubisoft confirms Assassin's Creed live action series has started filming and will take place in ancient Rome in 64 AD. Future Assassin's Creed games will likely see quite a few things carry over from Assassin's Creed Shadows, says art director. Crimson Desert has already sold 3 million copies worldwide. Pearl Abyss insists AI generated images shouldn't have made it into the final release and will update assets via patches. Minecraft Dungeons 2 revealed with fall 2026 launch. Game of Thrones characters make their way into Fortnite. Resident Evil Requiem debuts as the best-selling game of the year in the US so far. Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, reportedly directed by the same duo who helmed the Resident Evil 2 remake, and we all know how very good that game was, so hopefully they can revive this, or do this game the same justice. PS6 will seemingly support a form of FSR frame generation, hence Mark Cerny. Battlefield Hardline, a game we haven't heard in a very long time, on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, is being removed from digital storefronts starting May 22nd. Dying Light the Beast announces Restored Land Edition that adds lots of free content. 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare is enjoying blowing up on Steam thanks to big sales and positive word of mouth. Capcom insists it won't use AI generated assets in its games, but will harness tech to make game development process more efficient. Gee, the thing it was made for. Take note, other game devs. Don't use this as the main tool. Anyway, let me not get on that soapbox. Ex-Blizzard cinematic director Jason Hill joins Naughty Dog on Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Nacon Studios, including Spiders and Kyloton, have filed for insolvency. Resident Evil Requiem, the actress that voiced Grace's stalker enemy, drank 2 jugs of milk to get the voice right. Little extreme, but kudos to you for your craft. Pokemon Champions launches on Switch and Switch 2 on April 8th, with starter bundle being revealed. Following that, Pokemon Champions won't let you use Pokemon that aren't fully evolved at launch. Payday Aces High is a VR heist game coming this year. Sony reportedly shutters Dark Outlaw Games, laying off 50 people. New scientific study concludes post-game depression is real and it's RPGs that have the biggest effect on us. Report claims due to weak holiday sales, Nintendo cut Switch 2 production by 33%. Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition has been rated in Korea. And lastly, Sony's Honda Afeela PlayStation cars are getting scrapped as well.
Well, there you have it, everybody. That is the Patreon quick hits. A lot of cool stuff coming from Xbox this week, and some good consumer moves by Nintendo. So a lot of cool things there. Y'all let us know what you thought down in the comments below.
More positive than negative this time.
Yeah, the 1,000 people getting laid off is kind of hard.
Yeah, right. We'll say it broke even.
Yeah, broke even. But everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Nerd Cave News. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.